It's Freestyle Friday right here on the Texans Tailgate Talk.
I would be so awesome.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning into the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Hey, hold on for a second. Y'all like my shirt? I love this shirt. Hold on. This is one of my favorite shirts. Like for real. This is one of my favorite shirts. For those of y'all who are on the audio adventure with me, it says, "Pray for my ops." I got a hoodie that says the exact same thing. I have a hoodie that says the exact same thing. So let me move over here a little bit. Turn the camera. Getting your paperwork done for the airport. Okay, then, Marcus. Good morning to you. Once again, tuned to the Texas Tailgate Talk. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from. And the Texas Tailgate Talk YouTube page, all one word, Texas Tailgate Talk. And follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. Everything for the gram. Good morning to y'all. Good morning. Let me fix this microphone. Uh-oh, that microphone. So I'm doing this. I'm doing a morning podcast because there will not be a Texans happy hour this evening. For those of you all who know, you know, when I have Fridays that are free, because they're not about to be coming up here pretty soon, my Fridays won't be free anymore. And so I'm going to have to make sure that I can take all the available time I can with my wife and do date night. And so on the Fridays that I'm free, when she gets off work, I like to do date nights. The last couple of weeks we've been going to the movies. It's been some really good movies out too. It's been some really, really good movies out. And so we were doing date night. So I wanted to make sure that I got this show out of the way for you all. I try to go live at least once a day, Monday through Friday. I try to give y'all 5 morning shows, and then I'm going to give you 5 podcasts. And so, yeah, so that's one of the reasons why y'all are seeing me so early. Y'all probably wondering, like, hey, so where the drink? Where the drink? What's up, Queen? Happy birthday. Hey, y'all, today is Queen's birthday. What's up, Eric? I don't know where I got this shirt from. I can't remember. I got this shirt and I got the hoodie from the same from the same place. You know what, Eric? I'm gonna have to think about it and then I'll let you know. I don't know where I got this from. I love it though. I love it. See what they say? Pray for my ops. So this is a Freestyle Friday, right? This is a Freestyle Friday. And so we're just going to recap and go over some of the things that we've already talked about. But, you know, to close out the Texans voluntary OTAs, to close out the Texans voluntary OTAs, and we're going to close out minicamp because now that the Houston Texans have officially ended their, their offseason programs, now you go into this dead period of football where there's nothing really going on except, you know, they're going to have these different types of community events, but they're really getting themselves together for training camp, which starts at the end of July. And so these next couple of weeks, you know, it's going to be a dead period for the Houston Texans. And before I do the recap Well, before we do a recap of the OTAs and the minicamp, I just something that I have written down here, and I think that it's going to be very, very, very important for the Houston Texans offensive players, right? I think it is very important for the Houston Texans. Let me fix my hat for the Houston Texans offensive players, and they have the position players. They're going to have to get together. The position players for sure are going to have to get themselves, arrange something. I don't know. CJ's going to have to arrange something with the wide receivers. Joe Mixon is going to have to arrange something with the running backs. Nico is going to have to arrange something. Christian Kirk is going to have to arrange something with the wide receivers. They all need to be together. And then I'm looking, and I'll be looking, and hopefully I get an opportunity to talk with him throughout the offseason before the training camp starts. I'm going to ask Titus Howard about, are they going to get the team together? I'm sorry, get the offensive linemen together, and just go over, because you got a brand new system. So there's a brand new system, and there's a lot of new players on the offensive side of the ball now. Of course, you still have have your foundation in quarterback CJ Stroud, wide receiver Nico Collins, running back Joe Mixon, and offensive lineman Titus Howard. But you have a lot of new additions to the Houston Texans offensive side of the ball. And when you're trying to build that type of continuity and everybody gets onto the same page, not only do you have that, not only are you going to have that type of bonding and building period that you need to build, but you're also trying to learn a new offensive system. So you still have to learn everything that Nick Caley wants to do, and you want to have you want to build that type of continuity with your teammates. You want to build that type, especially for like CJ Stroud and the wide receivers. You want to get that thing down pat, so when you roll into training camp, you'll already be ahead of the curve, and you're not just learning. You're not trying to learn on the fly during training camp, because training camp is where you're going to build yourselves up to head into the regular season, which is the first game against the Los Angeles Rams. And so it's going to be very, very crucial, I feel, that the offensive players, the offensive position players, for sure, get themselves together and work out with one another throughout this off season, throughout this period before training camp starts, because when it's for the offense, it's almost like going to a new job again. It's almost like you're going to have that probationary period, because for the last 2 years you've had one play caller in former offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, and now you have a new play caller. So now there's new things that you have to learn. There's new plays you have to learn. There's new philosophies you have to learn. There's new lingo you have to learn. There's new verbiage. There's new audibles and things like that. And with CJ going into his third year and getting more control over the offense. What's up, HD? What's up, Corey? I'm going to answer your question in just a second, Corey. But with CJ going into his third year, and he was asked about having more control over the offense, and that's what he's going to be able to do. You can tell early on that Nick Caley has a lot of trust in CJ Stroud, and CJ Stroud believes a lot in Nick Caley. And now as he's going into his third year in the NFL, we know his rookie year, it was outstanding. His second year, his sophomore year, so he didn't play up to CJ Stroud standards, and now this is his third year. So now he has 2 years of just actually playing in the NFL, and now that he has those 2 years under his belt, and although he was successful in those 2 years, you could say that his rookie year was more successful than his sophomore year, but he has those 2 years. He has those 2 years of success, and so now, whatever the Texans do this year, right? Whatever the Texans do this year as far as being successful. So winning the AFC South won't be a surprise to him, because he's done it 2 years in a row. winning a wild card game won't be a surprise to him because he's played in the playoffs and he's won a wild card game. He's been in the playoff atmosphere and he's been in the playoff atmosphere at home for the wild card game, won 2 of those, and then he's played on the road in 2 hostile environments in Baltimore in his rookie season and in Kansas City in his sophomore season. So he's played in back-to-back hostile situations. And even though the Texans are 0-2, you still take those type of game time experiences and you put them under your belt and you learn from them. You know, you're going up against a very good Baltimore Ravens team his first year. Baltimore Ravens team who, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Lamar Jackson won the MVP that year, if I'm not mistaken. But going and watching, you know, you're watching to see how this Baltimore team, who was ranked number 1 in the AFC at the time, you're watching how they play. And then in the second year, you're watching how, you know, a Super Bowl champion team in the Kansas City Chiefs and how they operate and how Patrick Mahomes, you know, leads that team. And so he's had 2 examples of what 2 good teams looks like. And one thing that you know about CJ Stroud, and this is we said this since training camp, his rookie year. The first thing is CJ is one of those people that never unlearns. He never unlearns, and he very rarely makes the same mistake twice. He very rarely makes the same mistake twice. And so having that under his belt, knowing that he's able to do the things that he was able to do in his first 2 seasons, now he's a veteran now, right? What they call it, a big vet going into his 3rd year. And when you look at the offensive weapons that he has at his disposal, and when you look at you know, this new how do I want to call it, this re-energized type energy, this new energy that they have in the building with the hiring of offense coordinator Nick Caley, we'll get a chance to see, you know, just what CJ's able to do in his, you know, we're looking forward to seeing what CJ's going to do in his 3rd year. And so that's why I think that it's important throughout this offseason that he needs to get with, you know, he needs to spend some time with the running backs. He needs to spend some time with the wide receivers. He needs to spend some time with the offensive line, because they're going to that offense goes as CJ Stroud goes. Whatever CJ does, however CJ plays it, that's what that offense is going to look like. Now you wonder why I keep saying the offense, right? Because the defense is solid. The defense is solid. You know, their core unit is back. Their core unit is back. They got the majority of their starters back. We already know they got the 2 bookends and Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. We know that they got all-pro cornerback Derek Stingley. You know, they got Kamari Lassiter, who plays very well. You got Azeez Al-Shaair. You got Henry To'oTo'o, who came into his own. You're looking to see what Christian Harris a fully healthy Christian Harris is going to be able to give you. You don't know, but you still you don't know what you're going to get out of EJ Speed as far as play is concerned. But what you do know is that you're going to get your all. He's going to give you his all. And then on the back end, you have CJ Gardner-Johnson coming off of a Super Bowl, and then you got Kalen Bullock going into his 2nd year. So that defensive side of the ball is pretty much stout. They added 1 or 2 people on that defensive line, but for the most part, they got everybody that they need back as far as the interior is concerned. So you ain't got to worry about the defense as much as you have to worry about the offense. The only thing you got to worry about with the defense is keeping them healthy. They just got to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, they're going to give you everything that you need. And so that's why it's so important. That's why I got this written down. It's so important that the offensive position players, they need to get together. All right, there was a question, right? And this is freestyle. This is Freestyle Friday. Oh, yeah, my bad, Eric. I can't forget Jalen Petrie. I can't forget Jalen Petrie is there as well. I don't know about Jimmy Ward. I'm just being real with you right now. So yeah, so this is Freestyle Friday, and I'm gonna make sure that that I get to all the comments. Make sure you drop your question. Any question you have about the Houston Texans, or look, the Houston Texans or the AFC South, if I can answer it for you, because there's two things that I want to talk about today, and that's going on in the AFC South that I think that won't affect the Houston Texans, because I believe that the Houston Texans will win the AFC South. I don't think that, barring injuries, I don't think that they're going to have any problems winning the AFC South. But there's just some things that you still have to, you still have to do your homework, and you still got to do your due diligence as far as watching what these other teams are doing. There's two things that I've been watching that I want to talk about now, and I'll probably talk about those before we get to the final OTA and minicamp recap. What's going on, D Skills? But Corey, good morning to you. Corey B7 says, will the Texans have a top 3 defense? Okay, so let me ask you. Are you asking me, will they have a top 3 defense in the NFL, or will they have a top 3 defense like in the AFC? I want to make sure that I answer your question the right way. So can you tell me if you mean in the NFL or in the AFC? Yep, I can't forget about Jalen Petrie. All right, so once again, you're tuned into the Freestyle Friday right here on Texans Tailgate Talk. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Let's go around the South real quick, right? Tennessee Titans, I'm cool. I don't want to talk about them right now, even though I am a big Cam Ward fan. Like, I do like Cam Ward. I have, when Cam Ward was, where was he at? Was it Incarnate Word that he played at? Was it UTSA? God dang it. Hold on for a second. Let me go in here and look. Cam Ward. Let me see. I can't remember. Incarnate Word. Okay. So when Cam Ward was at Incarnate Word, he what's up, Larry? When Cam Ward was at Incarnate Word, he the Incarnate Word played against Prairie View. And I got a chance to see that game. And I'm saying to myself, yo, this quarterback is real. Like, this quarterback is real. And then when he left Incarnate Word, and I think he went to Washington State, and then he left Washington State and went to Miami, I'm saying to myself, yo, I like Cam Ward. I wish in Miami he would have played with a little bit more sense of urgency. And I always looked like he was just, all right, man, let's get to the next play. No problem. All right, yeah. All right, hey, here we go. All right, hike the ball. I got it, bro. Don't worry about it. Excuse me. Oh, there you go. Touchdown. It's too easy, bro. It's too easy. Sometimes he's just too he's too cool for me. What's up, Ramonis? What's up, William? He's just too cool for me sometimes. So I wish that, I'm hoping that in the NFL we'll see a little bit more sense of urgency with the Tennessee Titans. I don't really have too much to say about the Tennessee Titans right now. I just want to, look and see as when training camp starts, I'll have a little bit more. And once training camp starts, I will be having guests on from these beat writers and the people who cover the Colts and the Jags and the Titans. They will be coming on to the show. We will be talking with other. I will have guests from other teams who cover the team. So I don't want to talk about Tennessee. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts, right? And rest in peace, Jim Irsay. Rest in peace, Jim Irsay. I don't want to be disrespectful. Let me start off by saying that. I see that his daughters have taken over the team. It don't look like nothing has changed, though. It don't look like nothing has changed. I still feel like there's a false sense of hope coming out of Indianapolis. And it's only been OTAs. It's only been minicamp. Like I say, we got to wait until we get into the dog days of summer or the end of summer once training camp starts. But it's only been it's only been, it's only been a couple of OTAs and a couple of mini camps. How y'all trying to pump up Daniel Jones? Y'all still calling him Danny Dimes? You didn't see the way he played in. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me make. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure because I got something I want to say, but I want to make sure that I'm right. Here we go. Daniel Jones is making a strong impression in Indianapolis. The former Giant has been taking quarterback one reps with the Colts in OTAs and minicamp with Anthony Richardson sidelining with the shoulder injury. He's receiving nothing but positive reviews so far. Very pleased with what we got right now. He's been doing a hell of a job. Colts head coach Shane Steichen said of Jones in his press conference Thursday. Really smart football player, learned the offense very quickly, making real good decisions out there through OTAs. Obviously want to carry that over to training camp, but he's done a really good job. Great command in the huddle. Ultimate pro. Hey, we talking about the same Daniel Jones that came from the Giants. The Daniel Jones that they kept in New York over Saquon, who just won. Very pleased with what we got right now. He's been doing a hell of a job. Colts head coach Shane Steichen said of Jones in his press conference Thursday. Really smart football player. Learned the offense very quickly, making really good decisions out there through OTAs. Obviously want to carry that over in the training camp, but he's done a really good job. Great command in the huddle. Ultimate pro. I get it. And listen, hey, maybe I'm a little spoiled because I cover one of the up and coming one of the up and coming should be top 5 throughout his career quarterbacks in CJ Stroud. Maybe because I'm looking at CJ Stroud and I can see all the intangibles, barring injuries, that's going to make him great in this league. And then I think about Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. I'm like, y'all sure y'all got the right Daniel Jones? Like Danny Dimes, he ain't even Danny Bitcoin. He not even Danny Nichols. He not Danny Food Stamps. Daniel Jones has the same value to me as an NFT. Y'all know what an NFT is. I don't have time. I don't have time to break it down to y'all. I mean, just look up NFT. That's how much Daniel Jones is worth to me. And I'm saying to myself, if you're trying to pump up Daniel Jones and expect him to be successful against that Houston Texans defense, I'm saying to myself, like, the Indianapolis coach, their coach isn't a coach. He's a motivational speaker. I get it. It's OTAs. I got it. He said he wants to see him carry that through minicamp. And I understand Anthony Richardson is hurt again. Side note, I really root for Anthony Richardson. And I feel like if he can get it together, he could be like the second coming of Cam Newton. And I mean, as far as a big physical specimen. Now, Cam had a better passing game, a better throwing arm. And I don't mean just big throwing arm. I mean, Cam could place the ball where it needed to be. Anthony Richardson is still having some difficulties doing that because he throws the ball so hard. And because his arm is so big, and what I mean by a big arm is he can sling the rock. I think I told you this. I think I told you all this, that the year he was coming out and CJ was coming out, they during the NFL Combine, they were going back and forth, right? And they were going one after the other. CJ would go, Anthony Richardson would go first, and then CJ would go, and then sometimes they would switch it up. But I seen Anthony Richardson stand flat-footed and throw the ball 70 yards. Flat-footed. Just like no step. He didn't even take a step. And I seen him throw it live and in person, 70 yards. I also seen him miss on a 5-yard out route. I seen him miss on a 9-yard, 10-yard slant. Anything that was short and intermediate, he's having issues. But if he had to throw the go route, or if he had to throw the deep slant, hey, put that ball right there. He could put that ball on the money. On the money. But he's having problems. And that's the one thing. Cam Newton didn't have them type of problems. And Cam Newton could sling the rock as well. And so Anthony Richardson, right? And the Colts are in a really bad conundrum right now, because they have a quarterback who's injury prone and still developing. And it's really not good, because he's going into his third year and nobody can fully tell you who Anthony Richardson is going to be or what Anthony Richardson is going to be, because he can't stay on the field. I think when someone asked me this during the Texans happy hour, they said, what do you think about Jair Alexander? And I said, well, the best ability is availability. And if he can't stay on the field, and I think that was somebody asked me what I think about him. And then I think that when I was talking and I said that, I don't think that Jair Alexander wants to be a backup he wants to be a starter, because there's no way I'm putting him in the Texans starting rotation over Kamari Lassiter. There's just no way. And somebody's like, oh, so you think that Kamari is better than Jair Alexander? I don't think at this point of his career, going into his second year in the NFL, I don't think that he's as good as Jair Alexander. But the one thing that you can depend on is that he's going to be on the field. That's it. He's going to be on the field. And so that's the problem that I'm having. When I look at Anthony Richardson, you can't get a full evaluation of him. And it sucks for him, because he didn't have a lot of playing time when he was in college. He didn't have a lot of time to develop in college. And then he got drafted, and then he comes into the NFL and he gets hurt, and he stays hurt. And so you don't know what you're going to get in Anthony Richardson. And backing up Anthony Richardson is Daniel Jones. I was born at night. I wasn't born last night. The Indianapolis Colts can't sell me on, if Anthony Richardson isn't healthy, that Daniel Jones is ready to step right in and start. I mean, like, physically, he can start the game. Maybe I should say this. I don't think that Daniel Jones can start and be effective. I don't think that he could start and be effective. Hey, look, the Giants started him. The Giants paid him. He wasn't effective. He let the nephew of an Italian mob guy take his place. Okay, I'm just being performative right now. What was the guy's name? What's what was his name? Luciano DeVito. What was the guy's name that everybody fell in love with up in New York and came into the game after? Wasn't he like a third string quarterback? And then everybody fell in love with him. It was like, hey, bye. See you later, Daniel Jones. Hey, we loved you while you was here. Way to go, Danny Dimes. Woo! They're trying to get rid of the penny. And New York was like, we need to get rid of some dimes. Woo, we love you, Danny. Good luck in the future. Just don't ever come back to the Giants. So the Colts, hey Shane Steichen, you can't sell me on no damn Tommy DeVito. Thanks, D Skills. Thanks, D Skills. Yep. So you can't sell me on no damn Daniel Jones, Shane Steichen. No possible way. No. Hell yeah, no. Hell yeah. Hey, what happened? Hey, go get Quinn Ewers. What team Quinn Ewers on? Y'all know how I feel about Quinn Ewers, right? Man, is Quinn Ewers back in college? I feel like Quinn Ewers got another year eligibility. Like, what's that quarterback name that played at Georgia forever? Now he's in Miami. Wow. Quinn Ewers is with the Dolphins. Hold on. Wait, hold on for 1 second. Wait. See? It says because Quinn Ewers plays for the Miami Dolphins. And Sam Darnold is the backup there, right? No, Zach Wilson, excuse me. Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold kind of like the same person to me. Even though I know Sam Darnold was successful, don't get me wrong. They just still like the same person to me. So Zach Wilson is the backup quarterback in Miami behind Tua Tagovailoa. And you know who the third string quarterback is? Quinn Ewers. Maybe you can sell me on him. Or you can sell me on Daniel Jones. Maybe when Miami cuts Quinn Ewers, you can go get him. Then what's the wide receiver? Hey y'all, look, it is Freestyle Friday, so we just freestyle. Hey, what's the the wide receiver that played at UT that plays for the Indianapolis Colts right now? Didn't Quinn Ewers play with him? Freestyle Friday, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in too. Indianapolis Colts depth chart. Let me look real quick. I thought they had a wire. Is it Adonai Mitchell? Didn't Adonai Mitchell? Yes, thank you, Romanis. Because Adonai Mitchell was at Georgia, right? He won national championship at Georgia and then went to Texas. I digress. I won't talk about that. Like I said, we're going to be doing some AFC South talk as we lead up into training camp. But I just want to say that, you can't sell me on Daniel Jones, Shane Steichen. Nah, we're good. Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville. I think y'all gonna mess this up. I honestly and truly believe that you're going to mess. Oh, wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I got to show y'all this. Side note. I gotta show y'all this. This is from one of the Jacksonville Jaguars beat writers. You see that? Y'all see that? Our style of play, fast, fundamentally sound, attacking, situational masters, tough, mentally and physically. Wait, hold on, y'all. It gets better because let me show y'all something. Let me show you. Let me tell you. Let me show you why I'm showing you all this. Not just so you can laugh at Jacksonville, like the Texans have done for a very long time. Look at what he said. Travis D. Holmes, says that it's much better than Swarm. He says that the Jaguars' motto of fundamentally sound attacking situational masters, tough mentally and physically, is better than Swarm. I thought fast is what y'all was telling y'all. Y'all was telling your season ticket holders and your fans on how quick your regular season would be. I thought that fast was like you telling them, hey, it'll be over. It's gonna be over quickly. It's gonna be over fast. You ain't got to worry about it. Set your plans. Whatever the last game, whatever the last home game is for us, just go ahead and set your plans. You can go ahead and set your plans to whatever you need it to be, because we won't be in the postseason. So our season, this is how our season always ends, fast. When it's time for the Jacksonville Jaguars to move to London, when the NFL relocates them because they're a terrible team, this is exactly what's going to happen. You know how quickly they're going to move? Fast. What is he talking about? I wasn't the only one that's seen that, right? He said Jax printed that out at Kinko's. Oh man. Fast. Fast is better than Swarm? Fast is better than Swarm. What? Fast. I thought that y'all had went into a time machine and was talking about Jesus Christ. I thought you had went into a time machine and started talking about Urban Meyer's sex life. That I thought that was from Urban Meyer's playbook as far as how his fingers move. No, I thought that was from how quickly Jacksonville Jaguar fans are to complain and cry about their season and always want to talk down on the Texans. I know what it was. I know where they got that. I know where that acronym came from. How quickly Jacksonville Jaguar fans was crying about the hit Azeez Al-Shaair put on Trevor Lawrence. I got it. That's where that acronym, they'd be like, we need an acronym. Fast. What was fast around here? The crying in the comments that came after Azeez Al-Shaair hit Trevor Lawrence last year? Let's go with that. Ain't the Jacksonville Jaguars, their general manager is like 18, right? Like their general manager is like 18 and talks like he's AI. Right? That's not just me. Is it? Ain't they fast? Fast is better than Swarm? I digress. I got a feeling that Jacksonville is going to mess this thing up with Travis Hunter. And the reason why I feel like they're going to mess this thing up with Travis Hunter is you can't let Travis Hunter dictate to you where he wants to play. You got to play him where you need him. And don't get me wrong. I think that Travis Hunter is a really good wide receiver. I do. I think that Travis Hunter is a really good wide receiver. And maybe over time, being in the NFL, being around the right people, working out with the right people, learning how to run proper routes, he could be great. So I feel like he's good right now. And with proper training, he could be great as far as playing the wide receiver position. I feel like he's a great cornerback already. And I feel like the way that his mindset and his mentality is, you may have to, you're definitely going to have to bulk him up a little bit, and he's going to have to get better at tackling, of course. But he is a way better. Like, he's a great cornerback as far as those standards are concerned. If we're looking at the wide receiver position and the cornerback position, he's a great cornerback. He's a good wide receiver. And I feel like, is that what he should do is Travis Hunter needs to play on the defensive side of the ball. He needs to play cornerback. And this is just Sarge's opinion. Travis Hunter needs to play cornerback. And in playing cornerback, he needs to go and get with a former defensive back who was very good in the NFL that played wide receiver in college and then moved over to the other side of the ball and started playing defensive back. Now, if you've never seen Richard Sherman play in the NFL, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go back and look at that Legion of Boom, and look at that Legion of Boom, and look at the cornerbacks, and just go look at Richard Sherman. And Richard Sherman said, one of the things that made me a very, 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 very good defensive back, cornerback, is that I used to play wide receiver. So I can pick up on the tendencies and the habits. I can look at a wide receiver's feet pretty much and say, oh, I know what route's coming. If I can look at his feet and I can tell what route is coming, then I look at the alignment, then I can play it just that way. Trayvon Diggs used to play wide receiver. I think he played wide receiver at Alabama and then moved over to playing cornerback. And he takes a lot of risk. Don't get me wrong. He's a ball hawk too, though. But he also knows route concepts. He knows route concepts. He can look and he can tell. Okay, here's what's going on. And I'm not saying he didn't get beat. I'm not saying that Trayvon Diggs don't get beat. I'm not saying that Richard Sherman did get beat on occasions. Although, side note, hey, look. Before you go and start looking at Richard Sherman highlights, I want you to go to YouTube and type in Richard Sherman versus Michael Crabtree. Oh my God. Oh, listen. If the NFL ever needs a reality show to talk about the old days, you've got to interview Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree. Y'all gotta go and y'all gotta see that. Oh, that was made for TV right there. But I feel like that. Hold on for a second. Sheesh. I feel like that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to mess this up, and they're going to let Travis decide what he wants to do, when in all actuality, you should use him where you need him. I haven't done a deep dive into their roster just yet. I am going to do that. I haven't done a deep dive into their roster, but I am going to do that because, I'm going to look and I'm going to say, I'm going to, judge for myself where I feel like they should put him. Now, I'm not any type of coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they're going to make their own decisions. But he's a good cornerback. Not only is he a good cornerback, he has a direct connection. He has the private number of one of the NFL all-time greats at that position in Deion Sanders. He has the tools available to him in Deion Sanders, not only in what was taught to him in college to prepare him to get to this point, but now that he's in the NFL and things change and things go up just a little bit more, when those times, in those tough times, those rough times, you got somebody that calls you his son that you can lean on. That's why I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to mess this up, because I don't think that they're going to put him at the position of need. They're going to put him at the position that sell the most tickets, whatever's exciting. And I think at the wide receiver position, hey, they can sell him with playing with Brian Neighbors Jr. They can sell him of being another option and a weapon for Trevor Lawrence. And we know, hey, look, he's on the offensive side of the ball. How many touchdown passes will Travis Hunter catch from Trevor Lawrence this year? Come out and watch, blah, 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 blah. And all the while, your defense, Yeah, and the defensive back that shouldn't be in the game, that should be on the sideline while Travis Hunter is playing that position. And there's no possible way Travis Hunter can play both sides of the ball consistently like he did in college. It's not in the NFL. He'd wear himself out. He'd be out of the league in less than 3 years. So I just feel that way. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to mess this thing up with Travis Hunter. Let me get into some of these comments, and then I gotta I'm gonna wrap up OTAs and minicamp, and then I'm out of here. Eric says, I think that the whole as a whole, the offense as a whole should get together. We played versus Dan Jones for 1 quarter last year and got 2 interceptions off of him. Sam Darnold has whole league handing out 4th chances. If you read camp reports, you think every single team is going undefeated this season. Yep. Corey said, Coach just talking. Anthony Richardson, a.k.a. LaFar Jackson, a.k.a. Tap Out, a.k.a. IR5. Scam Newton. Richardson's short, medium throw rating is terrible. His deep ball is great. His healthy rating is terrible, too. Yep. What's a realistic receiving yards for Higgins this year? I want to say, okay, so if Nico stays healthy, Nico probably have anywhere from 1,100 to like 1,180. I can see a realistic goal for a rookie. I can see 550. If Nick Caley's offense is going to be what everybody's saying it's going to be, I can see him in the 550, 600 range with like 5 to 7 touchdowns. I think he'll have like 7 touchdowns. So I'm going to say right now, preliminary, I'm going to say 550 to 600 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns, because I think that Nico is going to have like over 1,100 and maybe like 11 or 12 touchdowns. But it just all depends on what happens with the coverage on Nico, because these teams are going to come out and they're going to make Higgins is going to have to prove it. Higgins is going to have to prove it to a lot of these teams, because they're going to come right out and they're going to roll the coverage over to Nico. And then when you get inside the red zone, they know the connection between CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, and they know that Nico can high point the ball, and they know that Nico's catch radius is huge, and so Stroud just has to put the ball anywhere, so they'll probably roll the coverage. And that's when Higgins is going to have to learn to use his size, his ability, his catch radius, and he's going to have to high point the ball as well. The one thing that's going to be great for the Houston Texans, I feel, if they can keep Nico Collins and they can keep Jaden Higgins healthy for the entire season, is that once you get into the red zone, you're not going to stall anymore, right? I feel, and this is just my opinion talking in June, but I don't feel that you're going to stall anymore, because now you got 2 big body wide receivers that can bully defensive backs. And the only way to stop Nico is you could probably have to double team him or double team him and where CJ can't get him the ball. But if you're going to do that, then that's when Higgins should be able to use his one-on-one ability to be able to win his matches. And if that doesn't happen, hopefully with offense coordinator Nick Caley being a tight ends coach, being that position coach, being a tight end coach, he'll be able to scheme up something to whereas Dalton Schultz may be in there, and maybe he can re-energize Dalton Schultz's career and make him the big body, wide receiver. Big body tight end down in the red zone, or maybe use a Cade Stover in a different type of package, or if Brevin Jordan is in the game, maybe they could do that. And this is if of course, if everybody makes a team, no trades, whatever the case may be, coming out of training camp. When you got Nico on one side and now you got Higgins on the other side, those two big body wide receivers, you can use the big body of Dalton Schultz in the red zone. And if Nick Chubb can be anything close to what he was in 2022, now you have two red zone threats coming out of the backfield, because we know that Joe Mixon is a dog inside of the red zone. And now you also have Nick Chubb that you can put in the red zone, that's a ground and pound type runner. So I know you only asked me about what is the realistic receiving yards for Higgins this year, and then I went off on a tangent. But I think that all that comes into play, not only when you do it, and not only in the red zone, but what are the coverages going to look like on Nico early, and what will Higgins do? Oh, my bad. And then you still have what Kalen Bullock called the slot demon in Christian Kirk, who should be able to operate. Christian Kirk should be able to operate a lot freely. A lot freer in this offense because of Higgins and Collins. He should be able to just eat all kinds of space. And when he's not in the game, then you got Jalen Noel in the game. He should be able to eat space once he learns the speed of the game. So, Corey, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent like that, but you got the wheels and the motions. You got everything moving. Yes, Jags did print that out at Kinko's. Not sure who the worst franchise is, the Jags or the Cards. Our players are fast, but our season is faster. What's up, Derek? Jags trying to pick a little bit of everyone's recipes. They need their own recipes. Exactly. Jags got the KFC recipe. They the Bad News Bears. Smells like Trent Richardson. You was thinking 602. You think Nico 1250? I think that it's going to take the other side of the field. And what I mean by the other side of the field, it's going to take that Higgins and Christian Kirk combination to be very good in order for Nico to get that. Because if they can prove that, if Higgins can prove himself early, then the defenses won't be able to roll the coverage over to Nico so much. Because where right now I feel like a lot of these teams are going to look at the Houston Texans and say, well, they're going to look at the Houston Texans and they're going to say, okay, we're going to make this rookie prove it to us. We're going to make this rookie prove it to us. So we're going to roll the coverage over to Nico and just keep it there. We'll also make sure Christian Kirk, who is a veteran who still has something left in the tank, we're going to make sure that he doesn't get too loose. But right now, our primary focus is Nico. This rookie is going to have to prove it. It's like going to the basketball court and, you're playing against somebody you never played before, and you don't know if they got a jumper or not, but you know that you want to prevent them from driving to the hole. So you prevent them from driving to the hole by backing off. You're going to have to prove to you that they can hit that jumper consistently before you go out there on them, right? Before you go out on him, he's gonna have to prove, hey, bro, you're gonna have to prove that you can hit that. Because if not, I'm just gonna sag in the lane and just let you keep shooting. But if you prove to me that you can hit that shot consistently, now I have to play defense on you closer. Now I gotta play you closer. I can't just sag in the lane because I know that this is what you can do. Jaden Higgins is gonna have to prove that he can consistently get open. He can consistently have a connection with CJ Stroud. He can consistently run his routes. He can consistently catch. He can consistently block. Like, he's going to have to prove it. He's still a rookie. He's still a rookie coming into the NFL, where he dominated in college, but now you're going to have to prove it on the NFL level. So that's why I can only see Nico getting 1250. If Jaden Higgins can prove that he can be a consistent number 2 for CJ Stroud. CJ for yards. What did CJ have for yards last year? Let me see something. what did CJ have for yards last year? And he had a bad season. So, um, a bad season. What I mean by bad season, I'm talking about according to when I say CJ had a down sophomore year, I'm talking about a down year as far as CJ Stroud's as far as CJ Stroud's mindset and level of play is. He felt like he had a down year to his standards. Excuse me, that's the word I was looking for. His standards. So if CJ had 3,727 yards passing last year, and that's with missing Nico for 5 games and then losing Stephon Diggs went down when? Hold on, let me look at his stats. Stephon Diggs went down in which week? He went down in week 8. So he was without Nico and Stephon for at least 2 games. But then he was without Stephon Diggs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then he lost Tank in week 16 and he still ended up. So barring injury, he stays healthy and everybody else stay healthy. I got CJ. He had 37 last year. I can see him having anywhere from 45, about 40, 45, 50. 4,550 yards. I think he can pick up he can pick up another 800, maybe another 1,000 yards if everybody stays healthy. And if the line is able to protect him, the line is able to protect him. The line is able to protect him, and Nick Caley is able to draw up the right type of plays. I can see an additional 900 yards passing. Because CJ left a lot of yards out on the field last year. Now, some of that was CJ's fault too. Let's not sugarcoat it. Some of those yards that was left out on the field, that was because of CJ. He'll tell you that. He'll tell you some of those was because of him. So, if healthy, I can see nothing less than AFC Championship game. All right, Texas Tangent. We'll talk to you later. In the famous words of the Black Negro poet MC Hammer, can't touch this. Jags, Colts, and Titans. So, yeah. Well, I mean, now, shoot, we don't have to do a recap of the OTAs and the minicamp. We just talked about it, basically. We really just talked about it. We really, really just talked about it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you all. I have a prior engagement that I have to get to, but I want to make sure that I kept my word. You got to factor in a god-awful play calling. Yes, that too. The play calling, and CJ could have. He'll tell you self-admittedly he could have played better. Real quick, I want to be a man of my words. OTAs and minicamp. What I've seen in OTA and minicamp is, of course, the line has to get better. The line has to build some type of continuity. The line, they have to stick with whatever they're going to do as far as what the offensive line is going to look like. I said this when Brandon K. Scott was on the Texans Happy Hour. I'm going to need Blake Fisher to put on some weight heading into training camp and in training camp. The wide receiver core, they're just young right now, but you got veterans in Nico Collins and Christian Kirk who should be able to help bring them up to speed. Got a chance to see CJ Stroud throw, of course, and he was a little bit rusty, but by day 2, you could tell that he has started to, get some of his mojo back, the way that he was, dropping dimes. The running back situation, we just got to wait and see, because Nick Chubb didn't really get any run, and Joe Mixon wasn't there. He's still rehabbing from a ankle injury, and there was no Dameon Pierce. So the running back position right now is an NA. And then you go to the other side of the ball. The defense as a whole played lights out. I'm interested to see. Oh, on the offensive side of the ball, on the offensive line, I like Ariante Ursery. He's just going to have to learn to play in the NFL. Right now, he's playing off of pure will, strength, and determination. But once Cole Popovich teaches him these fundamentals of playing in the offensive line in the NFL, he's going to be a whole lot better. He always wants to learn. He's always trying to pick the brains of someone. On the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line, of course, what can you say about Daniil and Will? They're already in midseason form. Sting and Lassiter, they're already in mid-season form. Kalen Bullock looks good. CJ Gardner-Johnson played a lot with the second and third teams in minicamp on day one. Then day two, they start to put him in a little bit with the first unit because he still has to learn the style of play of the Houston Texans. And so one person that really stood out, and I talked about him a lot. Coach talked about him a lot. Stingley talked about him a lot. Kamari, Kalen Bullock talked about him a lot. Jalen Smith, cornerback out of USC. And like I said on Texas Happy Hour on Thursday, Kalen told me that he is somebody that can play all three positions in the defensive backfield, and that's cornerback, nickelback, and safety. And so I think that they got them a good one in the third round in Jalen Smith. I'm going to pay a lot more attention in training camp to Jalen Reed because those two guys, like I said on the Texas Happy Hour, if you missed that, go back and watch it. Those two guys are going to be very important, especially with not knowing the status of Jimmy Ward right now after after being arrested on Thursday morning. You don't know what the legal issues are going to be with that. You don't know what the league is going to do. You don't know what the team is going to do. And so, these guys are going to definitely have to come up to speed really quickly because Jimmy, was slated to be the backup at the safety position and the backup at the nickel corner position behind Jalen Petrie. And so those two guys are going to come up to speed. I have to get up to speed really quick. All right. I'm out of here, y'all. Queena, happy birthday. You're welcome. H-Town Finest, what you say, was trying to get CJ killed. They wasn't even disguising blitzes, and Bobby wasn't even letting them audible for the hot rod. Hey, let's come back and talk about H-Town Finest. Be here for the Texas Happy Hour on Monday, and we'll hop back into this. Make sure you save this, and we'll talk about it in depth a little bit more on. We'll talk about it a little bit more on Monday. Thank you all for tuning in to the Freestyle Friday right here on the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from, and to the Texans Tailgate Talk YouTube page, all one word, Texans Tailgate Talk, and Instagram, Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Hold on, what we got? All right, y'all have a good one now. Big Sarge. Wait, y'all be safe this weekend. Please be safe. I want to see y'all right back here on Monday. Everybody be safe out there. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Don't put yourself in any situation that's going to cause you harm or danger. The only thing is if you got to protect yourself or protect your family, do that. But don't get yourself involved in nothing that you can't walk away from. If you can walk away from it, just walk away from it, please, because it's getting dangerous out here in these streets. I think there's going to be some protests going on in the city of Houston this weekend. So be careful when you're out and about because there may be some conflict, even though there's a peace is supposed to be a peaceful protest. It could be, it could be some conflict from both sides. So I just want y'all to be safe. Let me let y'all know that these young people, these young adults They're not playing. They'll try to cause harm to you, film it, put it on social media, and then go get something to eat. So if you can walk away from it, just walk away from it. You don't have to be tough, big and tough, and try to sit there and fight it out with them, or whatever the case may be. You do the best to protect yourself. If you got to protect yourself, then you do what you got to do. But if you can walk away and you can and leave it, please do, because I want to see everybody back here on Monday for the Texans happy hour. And don't forget, pray for my ops. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Big Sarge.